If you guys watched the podcast last night, our guest Danny went into a story that he was kind of reluctant to talk about. And it was about his mother seeing something that she couldn't explain on Tuesday night. It was basically you need to go back and watch it if you didn't get his actual description of what happened, but it was pretty much a dark shadow figure outside the window with a light behind it, I believe is what it was. Which, you guys know me, I try to steer clear of all that stuff, just because it complicates things. I mean, I personally don't think there's any kind of connection between the paranormal things or spiritual things in our world and Sasquatch. I just don't. You would think that I would, because of all the different experiences I've had with orbs, but I don't. I think they're two completely separate things, and I don't know what either one of them are. Not 100%. I believe the orbs are spiritual of some sort. I don't know. People have seen them when there's nothing spiritual going on at all. They're just random. And then other people, like my experience, they appear during times of, intense spiritual struggle, is only the best way I know how to put it. But that's why I talk about it. As a Sasquatch researcher, it would make my life a heck of a lot easier just to leave all that out. But when we started this group, we made an agreement, and that agreement was we were going to talk about everything, whether it made us feel uncomfortable or not. And these orbs, you go out looking for things, your eyes are open to the possibilities after seeing a Sasquatch or realizing they're real, then I think you're just open to other things, But the same night that Danny's mother had that experience, our own Hank Rosser, which you guys don't know very much about because he's a real quiet guy. He has no real interest in being in the podcast. You guys have probably seen him on videos when we're out at the happy place. He's into the field research, and that's it. And his wife is probably about like my wife. She has no real interest in the topic. She's just supportive of, what we're doing, but no real personal interest in anything like that. Well, I believe that changed because the same night that Danny, his mother, was having her experience, Hank's wife had a very strange experience. About 1:30 in the morning, she took the dogs out. She's standing there on the back porch, and from about 25 yards away, back in their backyard, there's a wood line. And she said an orb started flying towards her between two trees and got within about 10 to 15 yards away of her, coming directly at her. When she ran around, it freaked her out, obviously. She turned around and ran inside and locked the door. The way she described it is it was translucent. I don't guess it was super bright. And Hank said she keeps using the description as like if you make the third eye symbol with your hands. So basically a triangle, a triangular orb. We did a FaceTime video, and I'll walk you through it didn't record the audio, but you'll be able to see his backyard and where it started and the direction it came and where she was standing. But she wants to be on video about as much as my wife does. Zero. So but she was kind enough to, relay the story so we could talk about it. But weird. I recorded the phone call or the FaceTime call with Hank, and the audio didn't come through very good. So I'm just going to walk you through. Now, this is the vantage point of his wife. She was looking in this direction. That's their backyard. Hank says there's a wood line right there. And then about 100 yards away, there is a neighborhood, and there's a big gully in between the two. Now, Hank got into this because of strange, what he thinks is Sasquatch or possibly Sasquatch related activity at a lake that's not too far away from their house. So where he just pointed between those two trees, about 10 feet up, is where she first saw the orb. And you can see she was on the porch. And it got to within, I think he said 10 to 15 yards away from the porch by the time she backed off and ran to get in the house and lock the door.